And welcome to Upon Further Review. I'm Josh Aubrey. Plenty to get to in this week's show. We had a lot of success on the high school gridiron, not so much on the college front. The Georgia Southern Eagles coming off an impressive victory at home against Georgia State continue to have their trouble on the road. They dropped their third game on the road this season. They're 1-3 on the road. Now, they have played a couple of tough teams, but Texas State seemed like it might be a game in which Georgia Southern would at least keep it close. Unfortunately, the Bobcats jumped out to a quick lead and then kind of cruised on for the victory. We'll hear from head coach Clay Helton and a few of the players as the Eagles get set for a matchup once again on the road, this time up at Marshall. As for the area high school football teams, congratulations to the Statesboro Blue Devils for their 35-0 victory at Womack Field against Jenkins High School, which propelled them into the number 3 spot in the state playoffs. They'll be on the road playing at the number 2 seed Tucker coming up Friday night. The Bullock Academy Gators closed out an impressive 10-0 regular season with a 22-14 victory over Pinewood on the road in Belleville. Up next, they'll be having a bye this week, get back to action next week as they'll open up the state at home at Gator Alley. As for the Portal Panthers, congratulations to them on their first ever football region championship as they took out Jenkins County in an exciting 36-34 victory at the Portal Athletic Complex. Up next for them, they'll open up the state playoffs against Turner County coming up Friday night at 7:30. Not so good news on the road for the Southeast Bullock Yellow Jackets. They were eliminated from the state playoffs as they lost to Burke County 45-7. So 3 teams continuing their state playoff goals. We'll get to hear from a few of them, check out some highlights, plenty more coming up on Upon Further Review. Reminder before we go to break, hopefully you'll never be in an accident, but if so, please give our friends at the Sullivan Law Firm a call, 912-489-8888, or online at thesullivanlawfirm.com. Cook's Pharmacy, located on Highway 80 East, is family owned and operated by Lynn and Janie McCook, as well as their son, Josh McCook. Serving the Bullock County area since 2005, McCook's Pharmacy offers fast and friendly service where the customers come first. Vaccinations are available, including shingles, flu, pneumonia, and Tdap. Drive-through service is available with 2 drive-through windows for your convenience. McCook's Pharmacy offers free local deliveries, and new customers are always welcome. Continuing the tradition of our family caring for your family, McCook's Pharmacy, Highway 80 East. Eagles' spirit and style are a priority around here, and that's why the University Store, the official outfitter of Georgia Southern, offers everything you need to be game day ready. The University Store carries the largest inventory of licensed Georgia Southern apparel, accessories, and spirited merchandise. Show your spirit with tents, flags, and chairs. Show your style with polos, hats, dresses, and jerseys. Visit us in-store at our stadium shops or online at gsustore.com. Show your spirit from tailgate to touchdown with the University Store today. Well, the Georgia Southern Eagles licking their wounds after another tough loss on the road, and a lopsided one at that. We had a chance to talk with head coach Clay Helton about how the team is doing right now, what he feels went wrong this past Saturday, and how they're going to fix it before having a big matchup on the road at Marshall this week.
Congratulations to Coach Kenny and Texas State for one, getting bowl eligible and playing a tremendous football game. I thought they played at an extremely high level, offense, defense, and special teams, while we didn't play to our standard. You know, after capturing a 10-7 lead in the first quarter, we had in all 3 phases played a poor second quarter that created separation, and then came back in the second half and basically played even football. But the second quarter of allowing allowing third down conversions defensively, not getting the third down and fourth down conversions we need offensively, and having a turnover in our own area of the field really created the separation that was needed to get ahead in the game and stay ahead in the game. With that being said, we've got a lot ahead of us, and I told our team this. With 3 games remaining, we have the opportunity to control our own destiny, to play for a conference championship, still have the opportunity at a 10-win season and postseason play. So there's a lot ahead of us, and we've got yet another road game against a good quality football team in Marshall that is fighting for their own postseason eligibility, just like Texas State was, and has a great coaching staff and Coach Huff and crew. So we've got tremendous effort that we've got to lay forth this week in trying to go 1-0. There's really 3 key moments, Josh, in this game if you look at them. One being up 10-7. The first one is we got a drive stop at 10-7, getting ready to have great field position and have a chance to go take a 2-score lead, and you have the roughing the punter, which allows them to continue a drive and to take the lead. The second one was on that next drive. If you remember, we go down. We knew it was going to be 2 really good offense playing. Felt like it was going to be maybe a higher score game, so you take that risk reward of fourth downs where we've been really good. And so we had kind of made a measure of 4th and 1 to 5 past the 40 that we would go and go try it. And so that next drive right after that, we had it out on downs, if you remember. We went for a 4th and 5 inside the 40, didn't make it, and gave them decent field position. And then you come back on a P and 10 and you have the turnover on their side, and that led to a little bit of a snowball effect, in that you still look at a football team that is 6-3 controlling its own destiny. So we've had 3 road games where we have not executed very well, and that's got to change. It's my job as a coach to be able to fix those. In this case, each game is different. In this one, for me, it was a little bit of we had been a really good third down team, both offensively and defensively, and there was a shift in this one. If you look at Texas State, they were 10 of 17 on third and fourth down, while we were 4 of 12. And what did that lead to? It led to only 22 plays in the first half. It led to only 4 drives, in the first half. And so when that happens to you, there can be separation. So I felt like this game was a little bit different than those other 2. One, we made critical errors in that second quarter, but you don't see us a lot of times. We're one of the best third down efficiency units in the country, and this game we were not. So we've got to rebound off of that and make sure it doesn't happen again up in Huntington. So when I look at this team, their defense just jumps off on paper, and it jumps off on the film. This was one of the top defenses in the country last year. Brings back several key members on that defense, and I still think they're playing at an extremely high level. Even in the losses in the last couple games, you still look at the defense that has kept them in games. Coach Huff is a tremendous not only coach, but he does a tremendous job offensively. I know that offense, they'll be fighting like heck to get postseason eligible. Will get their best foot forward, and it's a special weekend for them also, up in Huntington. So it's going to be an electric atmosphere, a tough atmosphere. I've had the opportunity to play there before in the past. It's one of those special traditions of football when you go to Marshall.
As for the Eagle players, we had a chance to talk with them about what they feel went wrong on Saturday and how they intend to try to rebound this week on the road at Marshall.
I can't really say that we saw it coming. It was more, it just kind of went downhill. But it's like, as an offensive line, we have to be able to see it coming, and we have to take a little bit more ownership and try to get people up better next time. Yes, it's definitely something we have to improve on as an offensive line going into the next game. We are proud of how we ran the ball, and we ran the ball well, but as this offense, we know we still have to protect the quarterback because we are a passing offense. The keys to going out there and winning on the road is executing. That's all it takes is execution, because I feel like when we execute, we're one of the best teams in the conference, but it's just going out there on the road, being able to take in the environment, canceling out all the outside things, and just execution.
Well, speaking for defense, the standard's a standard. Coach Bailey always preaches 3 turnovers a game, and we didn't reach that mark, so that's not our standard. And then tackling, we got to do better as a unit tackling. I feel like defense, if I can only speak for defense, we know we got to do better fits-wise, film-wise, tackling, and causing turnovers, creating havoc as a whole unit. We know they got a very good running back. We're going to have to contain him as a unit. A very good running back, very decent quarterback as well. We know that the same team as last year. Very good, sound offense as a whole. Definitely have extra motivation. Like Coach Hutton said, our destiny lies in our hands. Playing for a conference championship, I feel like every game is a championship game. So I feel like not just because it's a road game, but these next coming games as a whole, these next 3 games are going to be very big, important games for us as a conference.
And stay with us. Coming up next, we'll hear from some of our area coaches and take a look at some highlights from over the week. There's a time for playing it safe and a time for Whiskey Business. Located on the corner of Highway 80 and East Main Street, Whiskey Business has one of the largest selections of bourbons as well as an allocated selection of bourbons and top shelf liquors. Featuring the coldest walk-in beer cave around, a great selection of IPA and craft beers as well as domestics. They also sell ice, mixers, champagne, wine with all your favorite brands. Whiskey Business also has a fully stocked cigar room with humidors, cigar cutters, torches, and other accessories featuring brands like Man O' War, Buffalo Trace, Macanudo, and Rocky Patel. Open Monday through Wednesday, 9 to 9 p.m., Thursday through Saturday, 9 till 10 p.m. Stop by and see them today.
Davis, you're in. You tired of being on the sidelines? Let's get you in the game. GATA, get after those assets.
Owning a small business is kind of a big deal. State Farm agents can help you find the right insurance coverage at the right price.
Call State Farm agent Matthew Tyson in Statesboro today.
Well, the Statesboro Blue Devils, it's been a very difficult season for first-year head coach Matt Dobson. They only had one region victory, and the only other victory they had was against Southeast Bullock at Paulson Stadium early in the season. But the good news for them is the region is very short, and they were able to claim one of the 4 playoff spots with a victory, a 35-0 one. Very impressive against Jenkins High School this past Friday night. We had a chance to, we're going to send you out for some of the highlights of that and then hear from head coach Matt Dobson. Statesboro High with the state playoff berth on the line, hosting Jenkins High School from Savannah. Early on, it's Cam Michael finding some room to run on the right side, and he's going to go 70 yards for the touchdown. Statesboro up 7-0. They'd recover a pooch kick, and then from the 4, Michael picks up some nice blocks and goes in for the touchdown. It's 14-0 Statesboro. The Blue Devil defense would hold the Warrior offense in check throughout the game. Here coming up with a big sack. And then on offense again, Michael scrambling around, looking for someone to throw it to. He'll chuck it up, and a great grab by Raylan Grant. He crosses the goal line. Statesboro 21-0. The defense helping that score hold up. Interception here by Dylan Pryor and a nice return. Statesboro up 21-0 at the half. To the second half we go, and again, the defense keeping Jenkins High School in check. They'd come up with a fumble recovery here. Then later back on offense, still 21-0. Cam Michael looking for a little room on the left side. He picks up 16 yards and getting a first down. And then it's Michael getting a nice block, this time ahead to the 20. He'd have over 160 yards rushing. To the fourth quarter we go, still 21-0. Ty Chambers goes in for the touchdown to make it 28-0 Statesboro on top. The defense comes up with the final points. Dylan Pryor, the pick six. Statesboro earns the number 3 seed, winning 35-0.
A tremendous job by our coaches and our players, just trusting the plan that we had, and trusting that we still can be a good football team. And so proud of our guys. They came out and we won all 3 phases of the game. You talk about our plan to win. We won the turnover margin in a huge way. Created turnovers on defense, created turnovers on special teams. We were able to run the football, ran for over 200 yards, and really shut down Jenkins' rushing attack. They only took 3 snaps in our territory all night, so just did a heck of a job shutting their run game down. Won the special forces, like I talked about, creating some turnovers in that phase. And then eliminated the penalties like we've done really the last couple of weeks. We had one late hit that was a bang play. Had one offside late in the game with some twos in the game, and then had one false start, and that was most of all of our penalties. And so just did a good job eliminating, not beating ourselves, and then we were able to finish the fourth quarter and get 2 more scores late to really put the game away early in the fourth quarter. Yeah, definitely a longer trip than we've had to take all year, and so our Friday will be a little different. And we're doing as many things as we can to keep things as routine as possible. We're going to stop at a school on the way up and do our walkthrough that we traditionally do on Fridays. We're even going to take some weights with us and do a game day lift like we traditionally do, some stretching, yoga type things. So trying to keep our game day as normal as possible. They're a good football team. They earned a 2 seed. They lost in the region championship. They went for 2 to try to win it and got stopped on the 2-point conversion in overtime, and so they lost by 1. Got a quarterback who's a good player. He's a big kid. He's listed on their roster, I think, at 6'8", 240 pounds. Big kid that can just throw it a mile down the field and make big plays there. Got a running back who's explosive. He's over a 1,500-yard guy on the year. Can take one to the house at any moment. So we got to be sound on defense, not give up big plays, and then defensively, they're the thing about them is they're fast. I think at every position they got speed. They're probably their strength of their team on defense is their 2 defensive ends. They got an LSU commit on one side and a Memphis commit on the other side. So 2 big, long, fast guys that can rush the passer. You better have a plan to control those guys, and then just everywhere else in the back end, guys that can run and they're pretty physical.
What do you feel like you have to do?
We got to do what we've been preaching all year, and what we finally did Friday night is just follow our plan to win. Friday night we won all 5 of our things in the plan to win. And I tell our guys, if you win 3 of those 5, you're most likely going to win the game. Sometimes if you win 2 of those 5, you're going to win the game. A lot of times you will. If you win all 5, you're going to win big. And so that's what we were able to do on Friday night, obviously with a 35-0 victory. And so we got to find ways, especially the turnovers, I think is going to be a huge part of it. Who can eliminate those? And then I think special teams is another, when you get to the playoffs and you start playing, everybody you play is going to be pretty good. And you better be good on special teams and not give that team extra possessions.
And stay with us. Up next, we'll visit with Bullock Academy head coach Aaron Phillips. The Southeast Bullock segment is brought to you in part thanks to Bullock County Farm Bureau, reminding you that September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. The Bullock County Farm Bureau on Northside Drive is a multi-line insurance agent writing farm, auto, homeowners, life, health insurance, and more. Nick Sherrod and the other 5 local agents are on standby for your convenience for in-depth insurance review. And while you're there, check out the products from local farmers. Located at 940 Northside Drive, stop by and see them today. Fall is here, and we've got you covered at RJ Pope's. Cheer on your favorite team with performance polos and jackets from Peter Millar and Gentile, as well as Southern Tide and AFCO. For ladies, they have the latest trends and fashions, including men's and women's jackets from Patagonia and Barber. RJ Pope's has a wide variety of on-cloud shoes for men and women, and a great selection of hats and caps. Shop one of their 3 locations, RJ Pope's downtown, Buckhead Plaza, and Vidalia. The Bullock Academy segment is brought to you in part thanks to Floors Outlet of Statesboro, located on Northside Drive. Come by and visit Mo for all your floor covering needs. Well, the Bullock Academy Gators were able to come through with a victory to finish off the season 10-0 and knock off their rivals from over in Belleville against Pinewood this past week, 22-16. There in Belleville. They will have this week off before getting back to action next week, which is comes as a much needed break for head coach Aaron Phillips' team, who was still a little bit banged up and had a few bumps and bruises in the Pinewood game as well. We had a chance to talk with him about his thoughts of this past week's victory as they get ready for the state playoffs.
I look back and we started this thing January 1, last year when we came back. We met with our coaches and we decided to implement how we wanted our program to look in the off season, the summer, and we presented that to our kids and our staff, our families here, and they bought into it. And we started seeing the fruits of our labor this summer with how big our kids were getting, how strong they were getting in the weight room, and that stuff translates to the field. And we had a lot of success early. We were able to, one thing big for me is to keep our coaches here, keep them on staff, not have a lot of turnover. It's always good when you don't have turnover at the top, but it's just as important to have, those coordinators and position coaches to still be here and be around the program too. So I think that had a lot to do with it. Offensively, just being able to, those guys having a second year under their belt. Ben Aaron has become an unbelievable option quarterback. He is the guy that puts the ball where it needs to be, and I mean, he's become a great runner as well. Guys like Brendan Perosa, having him back and healthy has been huge for our team, and obviously Isaiah and Reed, they've been banged up a little bit here at the end, but those two are really good players for us, and we're excited to have them back 100% here for the playoffs. As far as, the region and winning that, it's been 14 years since we've won a region title here. It's been, since 1979 that they've been 10-0. So all those things are, every team that starts the season has those as their goal. But to achieve it, it's pretty special. I had to sit back this weekend and, just reflect and even, schedule who you play, all that stuff. To go 10-0 is pretty special no matter who it is. I'm proud of our guys. I'm proud of our fans. It's big for the school. Hopefully this, just keeps propelling us forward, and we look forward to the playoffs. And I'm glad Pinewood Week is over. That's that's a big week around here and around our community and their community as well. And it's kind of like Georgia Tech. It doesn't matter who, on paper should have the best team. When you get between the lines, it's a war. It's super important. We still kind of overcoming a couple of little bumps and bruises. Reed Clifton's trying to get over an ankle injury, and we think he's going to be 100% by next week, so that'll be huge, getting him back on both sides of the ball. Isaiah is back for us. We limited his time, in Friday night's game, but he had missed the previous two region games, so getting those guys back 100%, getting them, a full week of practice in, starting next week will be big for us and our success. Having a bye week after a big physical game and being able to give the guys a day off today, I think that's big for us. You're talking about going into week 13 of the season. 13 weeks of doing the same thing. It's okay. I told them Friday night, I want you to get away from it for a day. Go to school, go home after school, and just get away from it, recharge the batteries. And this week we don't have an opponent, so we're going to kind of do a little scouting on Westfield and George Walton, the two teams, and kind of figure out what they do and what we can kind of do to prepare for kind of both of them. But really for us, it's concentrating on us, being able to make sure we stay sharp and do the little things right. And, I think I told our kids after the game, the playoffs will be really, really good for us. I think, the best thing for our team is to play somebody we don't know, play somebody that's a nameless, faceless opponent that we don't know, that's not 20 minutes down the road. And I think that's a huge for us. We'll play a lot better.
Well, as for the Portal Panthers, They were able to come through with the 36-34 victory at home against Jenkins County in overtime. An exciting game that went back and forth throughout. Let's send you back out, take a look at some of the highlights from that one. The Portal Panthers hitting the field before a packed house Friday night, taking on Jenkins County, looking for their first region championship. And it would be the defense making the big play early on. They'd strip the ball loose. Elijah Coleman comes up with it. And no need for his usual fancy cuts back and forth. He just turns on the speed and goes 95 yards for the touchdown. 6-0, Portal on top. More from the defense. Christian Wilson looking for room to run. He's going to be thrown to the ground at the 50 by Brian McQueen. Back on offense, Elijah Coleman, and here's why we call him Houdini. Getting out of all kinds of pressure, running 20 yards deep, and then rushing ahead to pick up 24 yards into Eagle territory. We move to the second quarter. And Coleman, he's going to lob this one up. And Samari McBride hauls it in for the touchdown. The Panthers going for two. And it's number 2 going in for the sneak. Portal on top 14-0 at this point, but Jenkins County roars back behind Rod Travius Coney. He's in for the touchdown. On the ensuing kickoff, Portal with their issues here. And Jenkins County able to recover. They'd end up turning this into points. This time the give to ZZ Wilson. He goes in to tie the game at 14 all. Portal right back. Coleman scrambling. He finds the big man, Amir Jackson, ahead for a first down. And it's Coleman to Jackson, back to Coleman, and a great grab by Charles McNeil down to the 10. Then a few plays later, watch this one by Coleman. All the way to the numbers on the right side, all the way back to the hash mark on the left, and then he ends up looking for Jackson, who gets suplex to the ground. I do believe that's pass interference. Then Coleman rolling right. Amir Jackson with the one-handed grab while being interfered with. And that's a touchdown, folks. They end up going for the 2-point conversion. And this looks like a flag football play here. Coleman to his center, Chase Smith. 22-14 at the half. Moving ahead to the second half. Coleman lobs it up. Double coverage. The ball is tipped, and Amir Jackson pulls it in for the score, extending the lead to 28-14. Jenkins County not going away, though. The touchdown run here over the top by Wilson. And then in the fourth, another score. This ties the game at 28 all. Time winding down. Coleman to Jackson for the first down to the 36, and then Coleman to Jackson again. Another first down for Portal. Time winding down. Coleman, this is something you don't see from him much. With less than a minute to go, he coughs up the ball. Jenkins County recovers. They'd run out the clock, though. And we go to overtime, tied at 28. Portal gets the first possession in OT. Coleman rolling left and finds a wide open Samari McBride for the touchdown. The Panthers elect to go for the 2-point conversion. Once again, Coleman to Jackson. He hauls it in. pass interference too, no problem. 36-28. Jenkins County able to answer with Wilson. He'll get the give and get into the end zone. So it's down to the 2-point conversion. They give this one to Cody. He stood up and dropped short of the goal line as the Panthers erupt, winning their first ever region championship, 36-34. So with the victory, the Panthers earned the #1 seed, and they will host Turner County coming up Friday night, 7:30 at the Portal Athletic Complex, the only game going on in town this week. All right, that'll wrap things up for now. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.